Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Mike Lee Collin II, and with me, as always, via Zoom is
Matthew Molloy Haas.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Today on the show, we are covering short-lived sitcom called Molloy, starring future Jeopardy host Mayim Bialik, and the first television appearance of Jennifer Aniston. Before we get started, though, Matt, I have a really weird concern I want to address with you.
Oh, okay, sure. What's up?
So, when I was a child, I remember on TV that Smokey the Bear would come on, and he would say, "Only you can prevent forest fires." And so every year since then, there's been these forest fires in California, and I've felt guilty ever since. Is it my fault? Because he was pointing right at me and saying that only I can prevent the forest fires.
It's understandable. I mean, the reason why he was saying that is because, you know, the only way that you could prevent a forest fire is if you're the one that started it. So he's like basically saying like only you can prevent forest fires by not starting a forest fire.
So it really wasn't just in the hands of an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, just making sure, because I was really worried about that, because I've been feeling guilty all these years.
I mean, you know, it's, you know, yeah, you don't have to feel guilty. I mean, it's nice that you know, have a conscience that you would feel not guilty necessarily, but just have that kind of weigh on your conscience. You know, shows that, you know, you actually have a heart and, you know, care about things, and, you know, That's a good attitude to have.
Mm-hmm. And I do have a heart, and
mm-hmm.
home is where the heart is, and mine's in the freezer.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, we're not talking about that. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand, folks. Molloy, interesting show.
Yeah.
Directed this episode. The pilot episode that we're covering was directed by John Tracy. It was written by George Beckerman and Stu Kreisman. This originally aired in 1990 in July of 1990. The show itself, they filmed 7 episodes, 2 of which were unaired.
Hmm.
Interesting little story here. This this was Mayim Bialik had built a budding career in TV and film since the age of 9. She was vigorously sought after as a TV series lead after her widely praised performance in the movie Beaches in 1988, where she played Bette Midler's childhood self in flashbacks. So during the 89-90 TV season, she committed to 2 pilots, one for NBC called Blossom, and one for Fox called Molloy. The 2 projects were in competition with each other, basically. And so what ended up happening was they ended up airing both of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the 2 projects, Molloy went into production first with a 7-episode order commissioned by Fox. After these 7 were completed, Bialik then shot the original pilot for Blossom, which NBC was going to air as a comedy special that summer. On July 5th, 2 weeks before Fox premiere of Molloy, NBC aired Blossom, and to really high ratings. With both projects riding on each other's misfortune for survival, it was up to the Fox series to do well, which unfortunately it didn't. So after some lackluster ratings, Fox canceled it with 2 unaired episodes. And so then Blossom went into production, and it ran for 5 seasons.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
History about that. Wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting backstory here to this show. I also think it's interesting that the character of Molloy and Blossom were basically very similar, in a lot of ways. So, what happens in this episode here, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, about that really quick. I probably would have watched Molloy, if that were on, because I was like probably 9 or 10. I think Blossom was kind of meant more for like teenagers, kind of like young teenagers going into like late teens, because it was on for 5 seasons. But like Molloy was probably more of like my speed during that time. But yeah. So what happens is Molloy lives with like kind of like sort of upper middle class parents. Both of them have like kind of like corporate jobs. Always on the phone with clients or whatever. Really really busy kind of family. Her younger brother is like listening to headphones at breakfast because he's like studying something or whatever. So it's like a really busy kind of family structure that seems like they don't really, spend a lot of quality time with each other because they're so busy with work and school or whatnot. And she, everyone I guess kind of treats her with kid gloves. Like she can't seem to get in trouble. She mentioned like no matter what she does, they just kind of, treat her really gingerly. And her dad, tells her to, make sure that she's home at, 6 p.m. That night for like a surprise. And it turns out that it's her birthday, so she's thinking that he's throwing her like a surprise party, but he wants her to kind of know that it's going to happen, to make sure that she actually shows up or whatever.
Yeah. And
so what else happens after that?
Well, we see Molloy at her job. She's a actress on a show that kind of seems like a Barney type show. Like a kids show where where there's a guy dressed up. What was he dressed up as? It was like a I think it was
like a squirrel
or something. I couldn't really tell what it was.
Yes, like that.
Yeah, but underneath it was like this this kind of pretentious British kind of guy, who was who was like basically kind of a stuck-up sort of, I'm a highfalutin actor, but I shouldn't be playing a frickin' costume character on a TV show. And
Right.
And so then she has some co-stars, one played by an actor with one of my favorite names ever, Bumper Robinson. Yes. Who would later go on to be actually a series regular on the TV show Amen with George Jefferson himself. What was that actor's name?
I don't know, unfortunately.
Yes. Sherman Hemsley, that's who it is. And yes, that's what I thought it was. I was just blanking. But yeah, Bumper Robinson, he's still acting to this day. He does a lot of voiceover work. He's a really prolific actor. But yeah, he was like I said, he was a regular on Amen for a while, which I really liked. I liked that show when it was on with Sherman Hemsley, and my Facebook friend Roz Ryan was a regular on there. Anyway, so they there's also another co-star and everything, and they're talking about her birthday. They give her a gift. The one co-star is kind of a airhead who basically just says what's in the gift before she opens it. And it was a sweater and a scarf, and and so she's excited because she thinks she's going to have a surprise party. Also, the thing we forgot to mention before is the fact that the reason she's living there with her dad and her step family is because her mom passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So her dad was just a weekend dad before that, after their divorce. And which I found interesting because the premise of Blossom was that she was living with her dad and her brothers after her mom passed away when she was really young. So yeah, just kind of funny that she was playing two characters that... But actually, I think that was more... She thought her mom passed away, but her mom ended up actually have just left them, and it was just... Yeah, anyways, I'm pretty sure... Or she just left them, I can't remember. But either way, it was a story about a kid without a mom. So... Also, yeah, so she gets home, and she's all excited thinking that they're going to have a surprise party for her birthday. Turns out that instead, the big surprise that they were talking about is that the family had bought a brand new car. Was it a Ferrari?
No, it was a Mercedes.
Mercedes, there we go, that's what it was. I was trying to remember. Yeah, it was a Mercedes that they bought. And, yeah, and... Of course, you've got the kind of spoiled older stepsister played by Jennifer Aniston here, and you've got like a kind of a nerdy younger brother there too. But anyways, they come home. She's all pissed off. Basically, they all forgot her birthday, and so then the next day, she's all pissed and doesn't really... She ends up not explaining things to her dad and basically says, he says, "What did I do?" And she's like, "You did nothing," And they're all upset. So then she ends up going off to school. Do you want to take a quick break here, Matt, and then we'll talk about the rest of the episode?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll do that really quick. So here's a word from our sponsors, folks, and we'll be right back.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back talking about a sitcom with the preferred, recently announced Jeopardy host, as opposed to the one who had to step down because of racist and misogynistic comments he made in the past. So
Why is it? Sorry, I don't mean to go on, but why does anyone think that if you say or do something on the internet that it's ever going to completely go away? Like it's always like, even if one person downloads the podcast, that's still one person who has the access, you know.
Nothing. I mean, everything's forever. I mean, you gotta be
it
careful.
is.
I mean, the only issue I have right now with this with Mike Richards, he's stepping down as the host, but he's still going to be the executive producer of the show.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it's like, it's all optics, is all it is. It's not even.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he should be stepping down from everything if he really feels bad, and then reevaluate things and start. I don't want him to lose his career or anything, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
It's just, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of also funny that that anybody named Mike Richards or Michael Richards is, you know, gets in trouble for being racist.
Right.
So, in my opinion, if your name is Mike or Michael Richards out there, you might want to change your name. Because that's how it works, right? It's all based on somebody's name. Anyway, so
yeah.
So what else? What else happens in this episode here, Matt?
Let's see here. She the next day, like when she just kind of tells her dad to, just like just get out of my life or whatever type of thing, she just slams the door at him. She decides to basically have like a day, out in town, with her colleagues / friends from the show that she was on, and they're talking about how much money they can grudge up or whatever to get some candy or whatever.
They're going to the pier, which I assume is the Santa Monica Pier, which I've been to. But anyways, yeah. So
I'd like to go there eventually. Yeah. Yeah. So they, and the one kid who's like worried about money. Then it turns out that he had $100 bill the whole time. He's like, I just don't want to crack this 100. It's like, wow. It's like, that's really nice of you. And so she's gone, pretty much all day. Yeah.
Yeah, and her parents figure out that she, her dad and her stepmom figure out through the stepdaughter that or stepsister, what do you want to call her, Jennifer Aniston's character, that it was her birthday yesterday and they all forgot. So they plan a new surprise party and they put that together, but she was gone all day and never showed up to her own party, and everybody basically had left. So then she gets home and there's all these presents for her, and what ends up happening is they have their nice little family moment where they decide that they're gonna be a family because everything's good. But after going through the whole apologizing to each other, and she's basically getting in trouble because she spent the whole day at the pier. finds out the reason that she went to the pier is because the previous year, when her mom was still alive, her mom took her there for her birthday. So it was kind of sad in that way.
Yeah.
But, her stepmom basically tells her, I'm not your real mom, but, I'm hoping to be a close second. And, it's kind of a touching moment. And then they end up fighting with each other, but in a way that's basically proving that they're family,
Yeah. Like, she's actually happy to be in trouble because that proves that they are paying attention to her and actually care about her. Because I remember someone said something once. I forgot if it was a movie or a documentary. I don't remember what, but basically it was like along the lines of, actually the worst thing you can experience is not like when your friends or family like yell at you. It's like when they just don't say anything at all because they've just completely given up on you. It's like,
yeah. Basically, it's
so it's kind of like,
it's better to be yelled at than to be ignored altogether. So
yeah.
And Jennifer Aniston's in the background saying, "I can't take all of this this sentimentality or whatever." So yeah. And so how's everything end then?
I think it ends with her. Well, yeah, they send her to her room, but then they give her some birthday cake to eat in her room while she's being grounded or whatever. And I think that's how. And oh, by the way, the British dude was at the party, and he was like apparently being really irritating, I guess, to them or something.
And he was like eating all the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a big guy, so they needed to write in the jokes about him eating a lot because.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah.
Back in the 80s and 90s, anytime a big person was on TV, you had to make fun of their weight.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yes. It's comedy. So
yeah.
because you can't have any major character development. You just got to talk about the way they look. Anyway, so sorry. But so the I don't know. Do you want to take another break here, Matt? I know it was really quick, but we'll take another break here, and then we'll talk about some trivia and some reviews for this show, and then our final thoughts.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back, folks.
Yep.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back. So, okay, Matt, here's a little bit of trivia here. Like I said before, this is Jennifer Aniston's first television appearance. Her dad had been an actor for years before that. Little known fact about Jennifer Aniston is her godfather was Telly Savalas. So, just because her dad was best friends with Telly Savalas, and her dad was John Aniston from the TV show Days of Our Lives. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, this is just random facts I have stuck in my head. The series theme song was a cover of Accentuate the Positive, performed in an upbeat jazz style by Dr. John. After 7 episodes of Molloy were produced, John was then hired to perform the theme song for Bialik's other proposed project, Blossom. So he performed the theme song for both of her sitcoms. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm sure if he was still alive, he would have performed for her latest show that she plays like a veterinarian in or whatever. I haven't watched it and probably won't because I've been kind of soured on Mayim Bialik only for the mere fact that she starred on Big Bang Theory for years.
Come on.
I know I can't hold that against her. I really shouldn't.
It was a job. She probably had. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I mean, and I'm fine with her being the host of Jeopardy. That's fine with me too. She's better than Mike Richards. But I really want to see LeVar Burton be the main host.
Yeah, me too. That's the one I want. The guy,
But then again, I haven't watched an episode of Jeopardy in years, so I don't really care either way. It's not like it's going to affect my life one way or the other.
Right. Yeah, I know.
So yeah, so basically, this show ran 4 episodes from July 25th till August 15th of 1990. That's
so it's literally ended like 31 years ago, like almost to the day, like
basically
6 or 5 days, difference, but
yeah, 31 years ago.
Wow.
And so we have one user review on the Internet Movie Database, and that's it.
Wow.
This is from Jason Elsey, back in January 25th of 2006. And his headline is "Never Made It to Air," even though it did, but whatever. He says, I was in Hollywood, California, Universal Studios my senior year, and we were approached to be in the audience for a new show. Of course we did it. Thought it would be cool to be part of a studio audience. I recognized Mayim from Beaches, and in the audience was Janice from the TV show Head of the Class. I took pictures with my disposable camera, and none of them turned out. I wish they would have, because it was none other than Jennifer Aniston playing her big sister. The show's premise was Mayim's character lived with her mom. Dad was off with a new family, and she shows up on the doorstep one day to live with her daddy. I think mom went to jail or something. See, they're totally missing the point of the show. And now she has an older stepsister and younger half-brother. It looked like it would have been a cute show. Not sure why it never made it. But shortly after, Blossom appeared, and I loved that show. And who knows what would have become of Friends. Yeah. See, this is the second short-lived series that we have covered featuring Jennifer Aniston, too, because we had also covered Ferris Bueller. Bueller. Anyway, so and so it's hard to say if either one of those shows had taken off if she would have ever ended up on Friends. So we could live in an alternate universe where there was no Blossom and there was no Friends.
Wow.
And I, for one, do not want to live in that world.
Actually,
probably wouldn't have affected my life one way or the other. Anyway, so
Friends was okay, but
I know.
like it was the greatest show ever. But
I used to love Blossom because I had a crush on her at the time for some reason. But yeah. So I don't know. So what did you think of this pilot? Do you think this show could have lasted if it would have been given a chance?
Yeah, I really, really liked it, and I don't know if I was just in like a weird headspace last night when I watched it. I watched it on my phone, actually, when I was eating like a bowl of oatmeal before going to bed, which, not really supposed to eat before going to bed, but hey, whatever. And so I'm just sitting there, at the table, pretty much all the lights are turned off. I just got my phone there. I'm just sitting there watching it, and I don't know. I just think, like I was probably maybe 7 or 8 years old when this show came out. So like, I think it would have been, even then it may have been a little bit too old for me, but not really that much, but like I could totally see myself at that time probably watching it every week, when it came out. So
yes, and I liked it, but I'm glad Blossom went instead, because if Blossom wouldn't have gone, we would never have Joey Lawrence's "Whoa," and
exactly, whoa,
into pop culture. So
yeah, and because that was like the peak of and then, pop culture right there.
And I'm still holding out hope for the Joey Lawrence Owen Wilson TV series called Whoa and Wow.
Wow.
And, where it would just
whoa.
Wow, whoa,
wow,
wow, whoa, wow, whoa, and then that would be the whole sitcom. Anyways,
yeah, that would be the whole thing.
Yeah, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. I'm going to
then you could
that to the Hollywood. Yep.
Yep, and then you could bring in Melissa Joan Hart into the mix for the Toledo show that they were in.
Yeah, the Melissa and Joey show. Yeah,
the Melissa and Joey, and then she could go out on like rants about how like you're not a good person if you're not a Christian or whatever, and then Joey can go like, "Whoa, did you say that? Whoa!" Owen Wilson be like, "Wow," and then
be the greatest thing ever.
Which just kind of messed for a second though. It just made me think of something though. Like with Loki, because he was in Loki, obviously. I just like thought about something really quick. So like we're dealing with like alternate timelines and different realities, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean there is like different versions of like the same like prophets, like Jesus and Moses and Muhammad, like different versions of the same? I mean, that's an interesting thought right there. Kind of a deep thought for the show we just reviewed. But
there might be a different version of the prophets in the worlds where we didn't have Friends or Blossom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that'd be interesting. So, any other final thoughts here on the show, Matt?
Not really. Just if you want to look really, really cool, you got to get the sweater that Dad was wearing on the first scene of the show.
Oh yeah,
and you got to get one of those phones too with the cords. Like go old school with cell phones, man, or cordless phones. Like throw away your iPhones, your Samsungs, whatever. Go get yourself a cordless phone. And if you're gonna go cellular, so like the Net's on Netflix right now with Sandra Bullock, that movie.
Yeah.
In the first scene, I think, is this guy. He's talking to like someone, and he's like has like one of those old school cell phones where you actually have an antenna.
Yeah.
And he it's done. He got to shut the antenna into his phone. Then he puts the phone like in his coat pocket because like the phone's too big to even fit like in his pants pocket because like that was before. So it's like you literally have to have like a pocket for your phone just to fit in. And I was like, oh my God, like this was like this was peak civilization right there. Like we didn't need anything else really at that point. Like that could have technology when it came to like phones and internet really could have just ended in like 1995. Like it would have been fine. Like there was no need for anything else. But anyway, he ends up killing himself a few minutes later. The movie.
It's funny that you mentioned that because like I was at my sister's birthday party the other day and I was talking to a guy about that we were randomly talking about the net and how it how the technology in it is so weird now because of how much it's advanced since that movie came out.
It really has. I mean, I remember watching it just like last night. I watched part of it, and how she actually orders pizza online. I remember when I first saw that. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, she's actually ordering pizza online. Like from where? Like I don't know any place that lets you do that. Like it was like pizza.net. I'm like, okay, wait a minute though. that pizza.net is just so like how do they call up the pizza stores themselves and do the order on the person's behalf? Like how does that even work?
This was like Grubhub or DoorDash or something before it existed.
Like way before, like 1995. I don't think you could order pizza online unless like maybe if you lived like in a really big city, maybe there's a few places that let you do that. But I can't imagine that was a normal thing at all to be able to do that. But but she got a pizza, anchovies and whatever other toppings she got on there, and looked pretty disgusting. I've had anchovies on pizza, not that great. Anchovies themselves, not that bad. Salty, but salty fish. What's wrong with that? Put it on pizza. I just took it off the pizza, then just ate it. Then took a bite of. I'm not sure why I'm even talking about this, but
the important question, since we brought up pizza, is pineapple on pizza or no?
I like pineapple on pizza a lot with pepperoni. With pepperoni, I like it. Maybe by itself with just cheese. Okay. I used to like it with mushrooms, but then I'm like, nah, I don't like that combo anymore. But yeah, definitely with pepperoni, I just like the sweet, fruity flavor that goes, with the cheese and the sauce. I just like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the
that's okay.
The pineapple on pizza.
You don't have to be.
But and plus, I don't like being lied to by pizza places when they say something's called Hawaiian pizza, even though it was created in Canada.
Is there a reason why they called it Hawaiian? Like, I mean, what's
it was mainly because of the pineapple was popular in Hawaii, and they roasted pig and stuff. So you got the pork and the pineapple and stuff. So they, figured it was a Hawaiian sort of delicacy to put that on food.
That almost seems kind of racist a little bit. Like,
maybe
pineapple. Hawaii, they got pineapples there. Pineapples kind of grow, I think, more than just places than Hawaii.
At one time, pineapples were like almost used as currency.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
no,
they because pineapples were so rare, it was actually a sign of affluence, basically, if you had pineapples. So.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So there's some randomness, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. So anyways, make sure you folks follow us on our social media, our social meds, like the book and the twits and the and the grams. You can check out our Cullen Park page there. Also, you can go to all2real2.com, check out stuff there. Go to our TeePublic and our Patreon. We got those listed in the show notes. Also, be sure to spread the word, and you can also join our Facebook group, the All Too Real 2 podcast group. It's a fun place to talk about things, and if you have any suggestions for future sitcoms we can cover, or any topic you'd like to hear us cover on here, you can just let us know, or if not that way, you can also send me a message at mike@cullenpark.com.
Yep.
Anyways, be safe out there, people. If you have to, wear a mask. Also, wear a condom. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.